All right, we ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a 30-minute presentation.
Yeah, just move the mics up here.
Check, 1, 2, 3, check, check.
Check.
Uh, how's everybody doing today? Okay, so this is like the first of the music panels, like besides the keynote speaker that we just had, Max Need. But this is gonna be the music industry and music scene development panel. And I'm gonna allow the grateful guests that are here today to introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. My name is Daryl, but people in the entertainment industry know me as DJ DC. Pleasure to meet you all.
My name is Juan. I'm the president of the 10 Music Club. Thank you for being here.
My name is Rolf. I'm the president of the TAMU AMP student org, the music business org here at A&M.
So the purpose of this panel that we have today is because I did something similar last year, but I basically want to take a couple, what I call stakeholders. It's like people around here who are key factors, key drivers, who are influencing the music scene around here, whether it's just DJing or running a bar or running a club or starting up their own newly formed club or being president of an already like well-known club and throwing like festivals. So I guess today we're going to dive into it. And I think I'm going to start off with Mr. Juan because I met him, I think, what was it, like last spring? It was last spring, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, it was last spring, and that was when I had first like stepped into a role where I had just done this first conference last semester, and then over the Stafford, they're like, okay, it seems like you can organize things, so why don't you start booking people? So Mr. Dr. Campbell told me about a beautiful, what is it, Hallapalooza?
Hallapalooza, yeah, yeah.
It's a music festival that they coordinated, and it was actually right around here, right in the front courtyard.
Over here, yeah.
So it was just like a couple bands, and so I went, I checked it out. I was very late. I drove up from Houston. I was late, but I saw some cool acts. I missed Nico Ray and Danny Lagunes, but it was enough for Dr. Campbell and Dr. Will Connor to tell me, hey, you gotta check them out. And I got videos, and there was him like Danny. You know how Danny is. He's got that stage presence. So
Yeah.
fast forward a couple months, going into this fall semester, because of that, we got a couple bands from that, like from there, like we scouted them, and then I'm like going through it, and I'm seeing, okay, there's a lot of different people. I worked in downtown Bryan, but there's people here in College Station and TAMU. So I want to say, how did you get to this position to where you were going to do this? And it was the first time you threw Hallapalooza. So how did that planning process go?
So, we kind of, the club was already defunct because it was funded by the original members actually graduated like around in 2020. And, it was a pandemic. It had momentum going into 2020 and then it shut down completely. And then I texted in the Slack like, hey, let's revive this. And so that's how in 2021, we kind of started setting everything up, setting the constitution, getting an advisor. And then that's how we kind of first started. We first started doing the meetings in Rudder. And the idea of the club was always to have a place where musicians can collaborate with each other and kind of like pursue their passion really. When I got into A&M, it was hard for me to find people that can share my passion with me and to like pursue projects. So I wanted to like have a place where people can do that essentially. And Hallapalooza came about because we brought brilliant Dr. Connor on board, and he had the idea like, hey, we should do some festivals. And I was like, well, okay, we first have to get the money. We applied for grants. Oh my God. That was insane. That was I remember that whole week I was only stressing about the festival. That was the only thing I was thinking about.
No, you feel.
Yeah. So, but that really came about because yeah, Dr. Connor had the idea. We met with Sean, who was another of the officers last year, and we kind of coordinated the whole thing. Really, like this really couldn't have happened without like the support of the PBFA and everybody, because I mean they lent us the backline. We don't have equipment per se. We just like our space for people that can go to. So we don't have any of the speakers or anything. So it was thanks to the PBFA that we were able to get that. We got unlucky because it was really windy, really chilly. But hey, we learn a lot over here, and we learn a lot the second time around as well. Like every time you do some of these things, you keep learning. So hope that answers your question.
Yeah, it absolutely does, and I think you reflected on a couple things that Max was talking about earlier, but I mean, a big thing is like why I said I'm with some stakeholders here, it's because there came a time where it's like, for example, if you want to start a band, you think about different individuals, different musicians who can come together and form something to create a beautiful melody or beautiful music. Now it's like, I'm referring to y'all as stakeholders because you were able to go and you were applying for grant, you're utilizing other people, mentors, professors, and you created organizations to come together. Now that to me is a beautiful, beautiful aspect, and I think that's big in music scene talent development. So I'm going to go and I want to talk to DC because this is a man who's got a great experience in the game. He goes out in Florida. He calls it seasons when he goes out and he DJs. So I want to hear a little bit about him because he comes from different states. I want to know about your experience. How do you see whenever you go to Florida or you're, Detroit? How do you see things here in downtown Bryan College Station? How do you see it developing and who is in play to make it develop?
Things that I see are amazing. Like, so I've been in this town about 7 years. When I first got here to now, the music scene, the trajectory is totally different. Uh, Everybody's coming together. Everybody's showing love with the people I'm working with, at least. But it's like a breath of fresh air to me. Like when I go to other places in Texas, it's kind of, I want to say, boxed in. Like, and obviously the spots that I go to are more hip hop based, but here it's not like that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of people mixing, mashing, working together. But another one of the biggest differences that I like here versus anywhere else, I work at Carney's not far from here, but that place is like a gold mine. Like I can mix anything. This is one of the few places I can mix punk rock with rap, with soul, with funk, with. So that's what I love about here more so than everywhere else. But one thing that I like most about venturing out though is the learning experience, be it Florida or Detroit or Arizona or wherever. I always come back with something different, another song or another mash, or you know what I mean? So that's what I love about that.
So do you feel that there's like, because we just came out from COVID 2020, I feel like that was a huge reset, and like especially in downtown Bryan, I think there's a big reset. The Palace had just started opening up again, and I think we're going to be in a place in a few years where national headlining acts will come here more consistently.
I totally agree with you. Really, is the scene here is just building and growing so much. I really feel like in the next year or so, we'll be able to take it to another notch. You know what I mean? But me personally, so I just stepped out of a normal job to DJ full time. So that's a part of my job now is to work to bring top acts here. You know what I mean? For myself. You know what I mean? I'm really living it now versus just
Yeah, I know.
having a day job, and so that's one of my personal goals.
So there's definitely a lot of like diversity and a lot of drives, like why we do this, why we're in music. And I want to talk about like Rolf real quick because he is a student. And I remember when he first came in, I first met him. What was your major again? What engineering? What?
I was in electrical systems engineering.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. So I don't know, can't curse, but I was like, hey, sorry, gotta come down. I was like, I don't know what that entails, but cool. Fast forward, he's now in the performance visualization fine arts. That's a major, but he has always been a student since I had met him. Like he had equipment, he had the knowledge, he had the drive, but he was still a student. And that's what I kind of like about certain people and certain stakeholders whenever we're trying to develop a scene. I personally don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning and I'm failing as I'm going along. But for someone to have that that curiosity and that courage to always try to learn, I think it's amazing. So how do you feel now since like you just started your own music business club, you want to start a record label in the future? How do you feel now seeing all these experiences? How does it make you see the future?
I think for me, the future is looking very bright. There's a lot of things going on here in downtown Bryan, and there's a lot of opportunities for innovation and taking that next step with the local music industry that I think a lot of people have been suspecting, but nobody has really taken that step yet to bring a lot of things to the next level. And something that I'm trying to accomplish with TAMU AMP, the music business org, is I really want to help develop not only the relationship between local artists and local audience and people who enjoy watching the music, but I also want to help develop students here who are prospective members of the music industry. I want to help develop their skills and their talents even before they go and pursue their own careers within the industry. Uh, I think it's very important to have a certain level of skills going into it, and if we can provide them with that skills, I think then it's a success to me.
Man, the future looking great. Hey, man, the future looking great.
Right.
But I will say, cause like that, there's that, and it's like Juan, like, do you feel that, like, I don't know when you're gonna, like, when, if you're graduating this semester or like I'm graduating this semester, do you feel like we've done enough to leave a kind of legacy or some momentum or maybe some type of structure? Cause for me, I think a lot of structure came from our mentors, from our professors. I mean, thanks to Dr. Joey Lopez, this is the second annual time we're doing a music and film conference. Thanks to Dr. Will Connor, there might be Hullapaloozas and it might be something big that we needed. So do you think that even in the little time that we had here in college, do you think we left some type of legacy to keep the ball rolling after that?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a legacy that is like that the ball's definitely rolling for a legacy. I will say to keep that going, it's very important to document everything that you've learned so far. Super important to have that because, like for example, like when we had trouble securing the money for that first Lollapalooza. So for future generations, they're not going to know that. They're not going to know, okay, we have to call these people and these venues are good for this type of music. These venues prefer like original music, like the 101, I know prefers original music heavily. So well, who to contact, what resources to use, that will as like that's kind of like our duty as I guess the people who are here to the people that are going to be after us is going to be document that so they can increase the legacy that basically we started the foundation of.
Like I really see that because, man, it seems like like you figure out your footing and then you go into some quicksand and then all of a sudden you might meet someone who you've never met before and they kind of show you a way to tie, the vines on in the jungle or wherever you are and climb yourself to like a way out. So to utilize other people and to let them utilize you, I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's like something that's great. And I want to reflect this on you and Rolf. One thing I love, especially about Texas A&M, that I think is the most unique part about being in a college in Texas, let alone the States, our alumni and our Aggie spirit that we always bleed maroon is so strong that even alumni, even after you graduate, we can still maintain a network that no other school has. I mean, Alazar, he graduated last year and we're still talking. I mean, he was at the show last night, recording a record label headlining DJ. I love this because whenever I want to do things around my community, I can definitely outsource to other people, but I prefer to outsource to my own people, my Aggies, my local people. DC is out here. He knows all about it. So I think that we are in good hands. I think we can do more. DC, what do you like? You and Dizzy, did you launch, you and Dizzy, did y'all launch your own sound company? Because I know he had done something around it. Do you have your own personal business as well?
Yes, I do. Dizzy has his own and I have my own as well. So that's really my personal business is called Chances 3440. 3440 is the address of the home I grew up in back in Saginaw, Michigan. It's called Chances because I took a chance to do what I'm doing. I could have went several other ways, but I took that shot at becoming a DJ. But oh man, that's really what got me injected in the scene here, being in so many different studios, talking to so many different people. Really, a lot of times I was playing the background. And I'm like, hey, take this out, or so that's what it did for me. But it really got me injected in the music scene here.
I wanna like before I continue with this, I wanna kind of like ask a question to some people. When you first, Leo, you're from the Valley, so I'm gonna ask you this as well. When you first came here, how long did it take for you to learn about the Grand Stafford Theater or learn about big like music things? Did you know anything about it?
Most of the things I learned from you, actually.
Okay,
You
yeah.
you would bring them towards me, especially when I'd see you grow, like, and then you got your place at the Grand Stafford. That's when I really started to see what they had to offer. And then, as for music scenes, of course, when you would take me to Visionary, that would be a lot of fun. And just meeting producers here as well, got kind of opened my eyes to what's hidden here, because I feel like things are a lot more hidden than I wish they were, but hopefully with more people like y'all, it starts to get bigger.
And I have to say, for the first 2 years of my life in college when I was a student, I used to walk by Bolton, the Bolton building where Joey Lopez's organization. I used to walk by there every single day to go to the library, and I had never known that I was walking by what I could see as like a treasure cove or like a cornucopia or something. Just so much opportunity because if I had maybe just, no, it was like COVID time, so I couldn't, but maybe if I just walked in there one day and just looked around and explored, had that courage, maybe I would have had access to the network that I do now a lot earlier. But this is why, when it comes to these stakeholders, and I'm telling you about, can we get the ball rolling? Do we leave a legacy? I want future students to come here to College Station already knowing about the systems in play. I want people to know who is the best DJ, who is the best sound engineer, who is throwing these ragers, who's doing this, who is the production team that started right around here. So when I look at it and I reflect about it, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not an emotional man, but it's like, it's kind of crazy. I really didn't think that we're gonna be in this position, and I'm telling you, I'm really faithful and I trust it. Roll, you still gonna be here after I graduate, so man, it's gonna really be up to you, especially with TAMU Amp. There's a lot. Just in the second or third meeting, you brought Jake, and then guess what? He opened for Ace Aura last night. Just because you brought him here, and he said, "This is crazy. This is changing my life." Because Jake wasn't a DJ that opened up last night. He said he grew up looking at Monster Cat, like just trying to like watch a video about how to send a demo. Then he opened up and talked to Monster Cat. So, Ro, what are your future plans with TAMU Amp, and what do you see your organization going towards?
I think one of the big parts of it, like Leo mentioned, is about things appearing to be hidden a lot of the time. And going back to what Juan mentioned about documentation, one thing that I really want to establish within AMP is kind of like just have this massive document where we have all the venues and all the recording studios and all the producers and the musicians that we know that are local and that we can trust with our business and with like accomplishing whatever it is we need those services for. And another thing that I really have been wanting to explore is the creation of an online presence, because a lot of the things that are going on, people know about them mostly through word of mouth, through seeing posters on campus, through having a friend who has a friend who knows a thing, right? And that's great if you have that friend who knows someone, right, who knows what's going on, but how are people who are completely outside of these circles supposed to really discover this? And I think part of that is creating more things to put out on like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and whatever, so that other people, they have the chance to see what's going on and choose to get involved with it, even if they don't already know anyone here.
Question for the two of y'all. Do you think that the more that we do with our creative pursuits in music, we, like with our facilitators right here, our professors, the more we get intertwined with their university and they get intertwined with the main university, do you think that will allow people to have more access to what we know? Do you think we should, like, this is a big path, like emphasizing what Dr. Campbell, Dr. Will Connor does? It was Dr. Campbell that sent me to Southwest for the first time last semester. Last night would not have happened if he had not sent that. And I remember when I got the call from Mr. Adam Rogers, and I was eating Blue Baker coincidentally, and I was at your conference as well. And I was like in a conference room up in the Rudder Tower, and it was so cinematic. And he's just like, he had a British accent, which I didn't even know that was gonna happen. He's just British accent. Hello, mate. Dr. Will Connor, Connor, sorry, Campbell said blah blah blah. And I'm just like sitting there like thinking like how, just how? And I met you by sitting in the media and gaming lab. So I would like to say thank you to you, and thank you to you, because Yes.
Oh, no,
So-
I was just gonna say, like, y'all giving me two like big ideas right now. One is like very minor but big, and then the other one's like a big idea. And one is, we were talking about walking by our lab and never knowing it was there. I'm like, why don't I just get LED signs and put them on the windows? I mean, like, duh, right? And it will just say media gaming, like, come in here, because our windows literally face outside where you're walking and you can just visibly see it. So I think that's, number one, I think I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna order some LED signs that literally say that. The other thing, I think there's two projects in this one idea that I have, but I'm just gonna register like bcsmusicscene.com or something like that. And then just load in all the stuff we're talking about statically. And then I think dynamically, like working with Campbell or whoever, we should create like a dynamic record of all the stuff that existed. But I think just to start off, we need a website that says the Vortex, that says all the companies that y'all have, all the different student orgs, all the different recording studios, and literally just statically is an updated list that has a list.
You stole my comment. That was my
Ah,
comment.
well, we can, me, I'm collaborative, so
That's right.
I'll let you do it. You do all the work.
I'll do all the work.
And you know what, you can have that one.
There's
Go for it,
something-
Will.
Pardon my French, everybody. Here we go. There used to be a website and a magazine called Book Your Own Fucking Life, which was, do you remember that?
I don't, but
Yeah,
it sounds real
it was,
familiar.
it was literally an annual report of everybody in the country putting in, oh, you can sleep on this person's couch, you could play at this person's basement, but there's also this club, there's a recording studio around the corner, blah, blah, blah. And it was just a list of everything that you could possibly do musically in the country. And everybody was, using that to all the punk rock bands especially, but hip hop artists, everybody was using it to book their own tours. And that's what we need a local version. of that.
Ultimately, what I'm thinking of to like locally give you an idea is like, think of like Destination Brian, but
Yeah.
just for music. It's like, all you're doing is promoting, like, so the Instagram for this site would be just promoting all, like, one post would be about each group or, different locations that are offering these things, and you're just cycling through, reminding people, hey, this is here, hey, this person's there. I'll give a shout out to, is it Gustavo from Visionary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he does that. I mean, like,
He
if you
does it.
follow his
That boy
feed,
been hard.
he's like, I'm
Yeah.
over here at Casa Rodriguez, and he's like interviewing like the viejas, the old ladies that like run it. And then he's over like at the paleta place, and it's like, I thought this guy did hip hop producing, but he's in there like on the street getting all those like little stories, going to the barber shops and like seeing what's up. So, I kind of think about what if we were able to get, and y'all know I do blogs, so I mean, I can pop this thing
We
up.
can make a database about it.
Yeah.
It's a
But
great
that's
idea.
what the database, I'm like over here like, Campbell, we need a ton.
And I
Yeah.
would like the same comment. As well. It wasn't called Book Your Fucking Life, it was called, but there was a regional one and a city-based one, like every city I've ever been. In Seattle, there was one, and San Francisco, there was one, and these were the sites that everyone pulled from. But it was important because it didn't just measure like, oh, here's a place you can play a show. It's like, here's the place that gives you free sandwiches if you go there at noon, and the owner really likes punk rock, so like they'll probably cater your event if you blah blah blah, right? It's recording all of those relationships.
The intangibles, yeah.
The intangibles that make up the scene.
Because it seems like we're going into a really digital field. And so it's like, when we go back to that earlier conversation with AI and all that, I think sometimes just walking around and being authentic, it's beautiful. I think that's something we're gonna miss. And even for you, like, how did you end up finding Vortex? I mean, I just walked in at a fashion show, like, I don't.
Literally, like you said, I used to walk past the place here on campus. I used to walk past the Vortex almost every day, ride past, and you know how it is when you in this industry, you gotta wear many hats. So I ended up getting booked for a photo shoot. And I'm like, one of my friends come from Austin. He like, where can we go to get some good pictures? I'm like, I got the perfect spot. Never knowing that I would be from that day on, I've been working there, I've been there almost every day, but we go there, we taking pictures and Vic come out, hey, what you doing? Now I'm his in-house DJ. Now Vortex Records is real. You know, we got a studio there. So, and just so y'all know, that's really why I'm here. Like, I work a lot, I'm in the scene, but Vortex opened so many doors for me. So shout out to the Vortex.
Shout out oh my God, every time, I'm sorry. I need like a press button, because Lord have mercy, the amount of times I was cursing last night compared to now, it's like, I'm doing very well, doing very, very well. One, because I do want to have a little bit of closing remarks so that we can have like a 5-minute break before the next artistic panel. Do you guys have any closing remarks or anything you want to say, like plug up?
So, I think it's a brilliant idea, the BCS music, because I remember when we had a trip to Berlin, and literally if you want to go to, I mean, Berlin, huge, like capital of techno, right? Literally, there was one webpage that you can go to and it had all the events in the city that you wanted to, and you could literally pick and choose. Obviously, pick your poison in Berlin, right? If you're not dressed like Dr. Connor or Dr. Campbell, you're not getting into any of the places. But yeah, I think that's a brilliant idea. We're working on Hallapalooza 2.0 this semester, so that's gonna be really exciting. I'll keep y'all posted on that, but, audition, by the way, we're having auditions open. If anybody here is interested in performing, do so, talk to me afterwards.
And as far as AMP goes, we are highly encouraging collaboration between us and TAM Music on Hallapalooza. I know y'all have been looking for people to help y'all run logistics and marketing, so I've really been pushing that among our members. But we're also working on putting on our own show next semester, with more details to come out soon. But essentially, the plan for that is going to be a 24-hour performance, 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. music the entire time. It's going to be really cool.
I think the only person I know who could possibly pull that off, because he did approach me about it. I told him, okay, we'll see. I'm gonna need a lot of something, and it's Red Bull or something. I think the only person that could pull that off is Mr. Daniel Son, because that is the one person that I've met that can actually go 24 hours producing, recording. Guys, I don't go to sleep anymore when I'm with him. And it's great, because I've never seen someone work as hard as this, and it's like, this is real. It's like, you don't choose your sleep schedule. So I definitely don't when I'm with him. So you should holler at him whenever you want to do that 24 hours, because you might say, forget it, let's do a 48 or 72. Just watch out. So does anybody have any last minute questions you want to ask these 3 beautiful stakeholders? Anybody? Diego, you had a question? What's up? Okay, well, thank you guys, and thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Taking like a quick 5-minute break because I need some water. My voice is dying. And